Hi, welcome. I'm Mary and I hook books. I crochet and listen to audiobooks, and I crochet things inspired by the books that I read. This month, I am going to really try to be better at reviewing books immediately after I read them because often by the end of the month, in my end of month wrap up, I've kind of forgotten a little bit of what I read at the beginning of the month, and I am one of those people that can read a book, love a book, and then totally forget the details about that book in a very short amount of time. So, come with me. This is the first week of September 2024. I'll show you what I'm crocheting and the books that inspired it.
Can I be your star tonight? You fill my soul with light the day we met. I don't wanna leave your side, no. Have me by your side when the sun sets. I hope you'll still want me. I hope you'll still need me a million years from now. The seasons are changing, the nights ever fading. It's time we left the ground. Let's leave for an eternity. Let's sail across the lights.
Today I finished The Sound of the Stars, and I don't remember why this was on my TBR, if this was a hoopla suggestion or what. I thought I was getting into a goofy palette cleanse. I mean, the premise sounds really goofy at first. An alien who loves music and a girl from New York who likes to read get together to save the world. That sounded like a wacky, goofy premise to me at first. But as I got into it, first of all, I realized I think it's technically YA. It's not YA in that it is written in that angsty, kind of condescending way that some authors like to pander to teenagers. It's about a teenager, and not every book about a child or teenager is YA, but it has some really great conversations and representation that I really like. If I had someone in my life who was a teenager and liked sci-fi, I would give this to them. There is a really great, just straight up conversation between two characters about their preferences, about consent. The male alien character is very worried about consent the whole time. I really like that, and I love seeing that modeled in fiction. So I really enjoyed that part, and I wish there were more YA books like that aren't toxic. I want you, I'm gonna have you. This was very, I care about you, so I care about what you want. I'm not going to do anything until you want to. Tell me directly, I want to do this, I don't want to do that. I really liked that. In addition, I liked the anxiety representation. I am not so sure. At one point, I think they said she had hyperthyroidism, and at one point, they said hypothyroidism, and they're very different. And some of the symptoms she said she had sounded more like hyperthyroidism, but I have hypothyroidism. I know when I run out of my medication, I cannot function. So I'm not sure how great that representation was. I did really like the chubby girl representation though, and the chub rub while being on the run being a real thing. I loved that. I can't speak for the African American experience, but I think it was a pretty good representation of that. And it could have been kind of corny, but I think it worked that they put song titles by all the chapters. I don't know exactly how well they all went together because I was reading this at work, so I couldn't just put on the right music. But I think it worked. I think it was cute, and I wonder if there is like a Spotify playlist to go along with this book somewhere. I really like the first half of this book. The premise. Oh no, my air conditioner. So, the first half of this book was more about the meta plot, about the conquering of Earth, the taming of humans, how the humans are dealing with it, and how to subvert that, how our main alien character has feelings when his species isn't supposed to, and our main female character has books and she's not supposed to. So I really liked the first half of this. Then it got into them getting together and going on the run, trying to maybe make a difference, maybe just escape. And I really liked the plot. I I always say I can do without the romance, but the romance was such a big part of this book. I liked the romance, but those parts where they were falling in love, some of them I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love it. And other parts I was like, okay, okay, it's getting a little too mushy. Let's move on now. Let's have some plot now. So that was good. That's why it's not like a 5 star, but it is a solid 4 star for me. I really enjoyed this book. And I really wish that it was a standalone. I didn't realize until about 90% into the book when we weren't where we were supposed to be. I was like, maybe it'll wrap up really quickly, but I'm pretty sure there needs to be another one because it doesn't have a super satisfying ending. It's very much setting up for the sequel. So that also brings it down a little bit for me. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I'm not the target audience, but I wish I knew someone who was so that I could suggest this book to them. I really loved the consent talks, the frank representation about demisexuality, asexuality, about anxiety. So I really liked that. Fun sci-fi, a little bit more serious than I originally thought it would be. I thought this was going to be a palate cleanser, but it wasn't super serious either. So I enjoyed it, and if that sounds good to you, I would recommend picking it up.
High.
Event that I ever actually get to go to my library's book club, I picked up one of their selections, The Swarm, and this is about terrifying giant butterflies, which sounds a little corny and campy, but they're described more as a mix of butterflies, crabs, and tarantulas, which actually is kind of terrifying. And these teenagers, two twins, two fraternal twins, a girl and a boy, and their friends are at school when it happens, and they immediately go, you know what? No, we're not gonna hang out in the gym. We're gonna get in our car. We're gonna go home. We're gonna get our little brother. We're gonna go home and hunker down. And it goes from there. I really liked the anxiety representation. I like that she had a rant about how you're not broken, you're just dealing with things. And a lot of people don't understand that people have different ways of dealing with things. And Ironically, her hypervigilance from her anxiety makes her the perfect person to be in charge during this emergency. Their mom gets stuck at work, and their dad died a couple years ago. So it's just these teenagers. And I think technically maybe this is supposed to be YA, but it doesn't read in that really pandering way that some YA does. So I was able to appreciate the writing style. It's so readable. It is such a fast book. And Fry wants to be in the video. It's a super fast book, and there were actually moments where it was super tense and like terrifying and scary. So I liked this. It wasn't overly gory or anything, but it was kind of claustrophobic. They can't leave the house or they might get eaten by giant butterflies. There's also humans that they have to be aware of that are doing some scary things, and there's humans who've been attacked by butterflies. So it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but I gave it a 3.75. So if you want some like readable horror light, I would probably pick this up. Verity Saves the World. This is the second in the Constance Verity, I believe it's a trilogy. I'm trying to get caught up in the so many series that I am in right now. And I really enjoy the mundane parts of the lives of superheroes. So, yes, you might have just saved the day from an alien invasion, but, you still have to deal with the homeowners association. And in the first book, I really enjoyed the complexities of female friendship and trying to decide if you want a normal life, if you can have a normal life, and continuing on with trying to have like a really great work-life balance as someone who is seemingly destined to always be in these adventures and save the universe. They move in. Constance and her boyfriend move in together. They have to deal with meeting the neighbors. So I love that part of it. I love how Constance has been through it all and done it all, so she can tell the evil genius, like, okay, yeah, this is what you're gonna say, then this is what I'm gonna do, and then you're gonna do this, and then I'm gonna kick your ass. And I love that kind of sense of humor. So I gave this 4 stars. I think it's really great. Older female, in their 30s, older female protagonist. We don't see that a ton. Women who are strong, a lot of friendship, a lot of really good relationship dynamics and trying to make relationships work. So I like that. Also, space cockroaches. So it's really fun. If any of that wildness sounds good, I would pick it up.
Can I be your star tonight? You fill my soul with light the day we met. I don't wanna leave your side, no. Have me by your side when the sun sets. I hope you'll still want me. I hope you'll still need me 1,000,000 years from now. The seasons are changing, the nights ever fading. It's time we left the ground. Let's leave for an eternity.
World Engineers is the second book in the Ringworld series. I bought the first three books when they were all on sale together, and I feel like I'm falling out of love with classic sci-fi. I used to be fine if there were cool ideas. So there didn't have to be good character work, there didn't have to be much of a plot, as long as there were cool concepts and ideas. And that is very much how these books are. And I do appreciate these books. They did inspire a lot of engineers and a lot of physicists and scientists to think about how these things would really work in real life. So that was awesome. I also love the homage to the Ringworld in Heaven's River, one of the Bobaverse books. So I really appreciate this book. As far as actually reading it, I guess this was the second in the series. He had never thought he was going to make another addition to this series. He thought he was a one and done, but people loved it so much that he continued. And we're a couple years later, we have to go back to Ringworld, figure out why something is going wrong, and interesting concepts ensue. The characters, they're cool concepts. A giant tiger warrior person, a two-headed llama that's scared of everything, a person who is literally just bred for luck. So cool ideas and concepts. But the story, I literally just kept like, wait, what are we doing? Wait, what? Why are we here? That was a really cool description of a thing, but I don't know why we're talking about that thing. So I think I'm falling out of love with classic sci-fi. If you are still in love with classic sci-fi, you can handle really cool ideas without a lot of character work or plot, then this might be up your alley. Like I said, it's a really cool concept, and I did like some of the anthropological and possible evolutionary implications of leaving a group alone and how they would then diversify into these different groups that we got to interact with. So I enjoyed that part, but for me it was just okay.
Sail across the lights beyond the sky. I'll be with you eternally. I'm an addict for your love. It keeps me high. Keeps me high.
Starter villain from John Scalzi. I have loved everything that I've read from John Scalzi. A lot of people will say that all of his characters are kind of the same, and I get that, but I love that character, so it works for me. And I love the sense of humor that's in his books, so they are completely my jam. And in this book, a down on his luck journalist is informed that his uncle has died, unfortunately. Of course, he didn't know his uncle since he was 6 years old and he had a falling out with his father. So, after reassuring our main character that two cats is far from crazy cat person territory, everyone hear that? He is taken to his uncle's estate, which is a private island, and he finds out that his uncle was a supervillain with a thing for cats. So I loved it. It was a really quick read, but I actually spread it out over a couple days because I was just having a good time and I wanted to keep that going. So I gave it 5 stars. I think it's hilarious, quick, fun, nice little palate cleanse or a slump buster, and especially if you love cats or talking dolphins or unions, I would pick it up. Spellbound is the second book in the Grimnoir series. I bought the first 3 books when they were on sale, and Monster wants to be in the video too. And this is What If Magic. So it's an alternate history. What if there was magic, and how would that influence warfare? Especially, this is a little after World War One. They mentioned 1933 a couple times, so I think it was between World War One and World War Two, or maybe it was like in World War Two around that same time. So that's the geopolitical situation that we're looking at, and it is a little slow. And there was so much going on. We have so many characters that have been introduced, and it would switch back and forth really fast between each of the characters within the same chapter. So if I wasn't really paying attention, I could get a little bit lost. The characters are at least all unique, and there are a lot of strong females in this, which is nice. I really liked the big battle scene. That was probably my favorite because it was one big scene and it wasn't flipping back and forth super fast. It did take me a while to get through this. It's the second book, so I'm not gonna say much. I can barely remember what the first book was about, honestly. I read it so long ago and it wasn't that memorable. It was memorable enough that I bought the second and third books, but I think they're like a 3. It's a fun, interesting what if this. So if you're into urban fantasy, alternate history, this could be a cool book for you to pick up too. So that was everything I read and crocheted in the first week of September. Thank you for coming along with me, and I hope to see you again soon. In the meantime, please do something to take care of yourself, eat a nutritious meal, take a good nap, get some exercise, read a good book, whatever nourishes your soul. And just remember, keep your shoulders back, your head up, and breathe.